that's right. We're live over here on Facebook. We're live on the radio. I'm just alive today. That's all I have to say. So good morning, good morning, good morning. We're trying this again. Hope you had a great weekend getting all that holiday shopping done. I must say that Saturday, I was a little surprised. I don't know whether people went out of town or what it was, but it was pretty quiet at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was out and about, and I was surprised at how easy it was for me to get in and out of the store. So I don't know what the deal was there, but anyways. So that's just a little bit. I don't know what exactly was going on. Got to say a big kudos to the plunge out there, the polar plunge out there at Lake Greenwood. I understand they raised over $19,000. That was pretty awesome. Of course, they had a bigger goal, so I guess they'll be working on some of the some other activities, and hopefully we can get involved at that point. I thought it was interesting over there at Matthews Elementary over there, where the resource officer, Amy Tyler, had her own polar plunge of sorts in order to get all the students involved in there. She let them throw a bucket of ice on her. Woo! Okay, you know, that reminds you back to that, what was it, when they were doing that for... They were doing that for one disease, was it Parkinson's disease or MS? I think it was for MS that they were doing that a few years ago. Well, she came up with her own fundraising to help her meet her goal, so that was pretty neat. And that's one of the things I love about schools and everything is the sense of community that you can actually have. So I think that when we see that the activities that they involve in, I love the fact that there are so many things going on, and I don't follow each and every one of the schools. I follow some of them, but it really is interesting what they're able to do. I tell you another thing that was going on this weekend that you may not know about is the Toros group had some big wins. 3 out of 4 of the Toro teams that qualified and won are going to Auburndale, Florida for regionals in June of 2026. How about that? That is pretty darn interesting. I don't think I have all the details, but this was a big going on. Where was that? In Florence, I think. That was a big deal that was going on. You know, the Toros teams, they kind of fly under the radar, don't they? They just kind of fly along, but they are out there doing amazing things, and part of the reason they do such amazing things is because of the families that are so involved in what happens out there. So I think it is great that we have so much of this going on in our community. So I don't know that much else about it. I just happen to know that they won, and that is what is important. They won. They did great. And of course, being right here at the holiday season, it is kind of hard to think about the fact that they had to focus on doing that as well as getting ready for Christmas. I think that's a pretty hard time to have that type of activity right there at Christmas. But anyways, they did it. They will be going. I was going to see if I could find anything more here about it this morning so that I could tell you a little bit about it. But here we go. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. South Carolina Youth Soccer at the Florence. Congratulations this year to U15 Girls President's Cup champions, Lakeland's Toros Soccer Club. And a round of applause for our finalists, Spartanburg United. This is pretty darn good. PML State, that was the semifinals. So to see this type of thing happening is great. And I want to say a big congratulations to all of those that are out there playing soccer. They have now, I guess, come to the end of the season. Of course, they'll be starting up in a little bit, but they'll be able to rest on their laurels, and maybe Santa will be extra good to them for Christmas since they did so good. What do you think? What do you think? And they're going to Florida, or I don't know where Auburndale is, but they're going to Florida for the championships in June. So hopefully we'll be able to get those girls back on the radio with us to talk about some of their experiences and what this all means. So again, congratulations. All right, on to some other things right here in Greenwood. What else do I know here in Greenwood? Do I know anything else here in Greenwood? I've got some cool stuff about... What do you think about... I've got some cool stories today to share with you. Do you think that... I think... No, I'm not going to. It's Christmas. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to try to be nice today on Christmas. I'm going to try to be nice on Christmas. I do want to say that the other day we were able to get a couple of more bicycles for a couple of students up there in Ware Shoals, and we able to get them. They were delivered, and the children were ecstatic. So again, to all the goodness that has come together with our getting some bikes out there to the kids, getting all the toys and everything, and to see some of the pictures just has been so heartwarming. So to all that contributed, again, my heartfelt thanks to that. But now, let's start talking about some of the things. On a national topic, Trump announces $1.3 billion in sales of gold card visas. No, you can't spend those. Sounds like a Visa card, looks like a Visa card. It's got a picture of Trump on it, the Trump gold card. The United States of America Trump gold card. I don't know. They've sold, anyways, the administration has sold more than $1.3 billion worth of Trump gold cards, a new immigration program offering expedited residency to high-skilled foreign talent, with proceeds going towards paying down the national debt. Trump has described the gold card as green card on steroids. He said the option would allow companies to retain graduates from elite institutions such as Harvard and the Wharton School of Business, who might otherwise have to go back to their native countries upon graduation. They graduate from the top schools, Trump said. These people want to hire them. Now you're able to buy a card and you're able to keep people in the country. Trump highlighted how his immigration policy focuses on securing top talent and curbing illegal immigration. The gold card allows businesses to purchase the visas for foreign workers, enabling to stay indefinitely with work rights. The visa costs $1 million in the form of a donation to the U.S. federal government, and he's already sold $1.3 billion worth of these. The program, which has been challenged legally, began accepting applications on December 10th. On December 10th, they started actually accepting, and they've already sold $1.3 billion of these gold cards. Trump launched the gold card in September with an executive order and instituted a $100,000 fee for H-1B visa applications. The H-1B fee exempts current holders and renewals, according to the White House. He first proposed it in February, floating a $5 million price tag for residency and a path to citizenship. So there you go. That's just a little bit about that. And what do you think about that? 864-332-9355. Should we be selling gold cards these are for work visas, and I guess basically this is for companies. But the one thing about it, it certainly puts certain companies in the driver's seat on immigration, doesn't it? Because if you have to be able to afford to buy a gold card. Now, the thing I don't know, can an individual say, I want to come to America. I will buy one of those gold cards. Send me the paperwork. I transfer the money. I don't know. I don't actually know. Let's see if it says anything about that. If you're capable of doing that, I don't know. Trump focuses on securing top. Under the Biden administration, 25 million people came in, and they came from prisons and mental institutions. They were drug dealers, and all sorts of people came in that shouldn't be here. They came from the jails, Trump said. The gold card allows businesses to purchase the visa for foreign workers. So the program, does it say anything about wealthy? Let's see. Trump first proposed it, right? The wealthy people will be coming into our country, he said when he proposed the program. And they launched a dedicated website in June. When launching the immigration gold card, Trump said it would reduce our taxes greatly and hopefully bring some great people into our country. Payments go straight to the U.S. Treasury. So 20 states, however, filed a lawsuit against the $1 million H-1B1 fee, arguing it goes beyond executive authority. Meanwhile, proponents say the program fixes long-standing issues with the H-1B1 lottery system. Very, very interesting. So the idea of coming to America and starting with nothing and building your wealth and everything is now gone. It's gone. You have to be wealthy to come into this country. I don't know what that says about the rest of us. We have birthright, but we don't automatically get the gold spoon in our mouth, do we? No, we don't. So if you are wealthy, you can come to our country. I don't know. Do you like that idea? I don't know. Having a system that allows for us to vet the people before they come through is, in my opinion, highly, because look at what our country was built on. Our country was built on immigration and immigrants and people that worked hard. Just think about all the people that left Ireland that came here and just worked their fingers to the bone, literally. The people that came from China and Taiwan, the oriental part of it, that is the reason we have so many Chinese restaurants across our country. I don't know. Do you like the fact that we're only letting rich people in now? I don't like the idea of what we had coming in here, but I think there should be some kind of balance, because I think if America is the dream of coming to America, you're certainly changing that, because now, I got $1 million. I think I'll go live in America. Go ahead, send me the paperwork. I'm coming in. Do you like that? I don't really like that. All right, that's just my personal opinion here this morning. Love to hear what you think. 864-332-9355. That's 864-332-9355. Interesting to note, the Pentagon has failed to pass a full financial audit for the 8th year in a row. So much for transparency. Congress initially mandated annual independent audits across the Department of Defense in 2018. In that time, the department has failed to pass a single full audit. Since 2018, they have not had an audit or passed an audit. Excuse me. The Department of Defense, also known as the Department of War, lists $4.65 trillion in assets and $4.72 trillion in liabilities through the fiscal year 2025. Let me read that again. $4.65 trillion in assets and $4.72 trillion in liabilities through the fiscal year 2025, which ended on September 30th. The Pentagon cannot account for its full balance sheet. Come on. This is a simple procedure, just like having a budget is a simple procedure. Only the U.S. government, which is, acting like they're awash in money coming in. I mean, they're selling these visas, they're doing this, they've got the tariffs, everything is so good. What's the deal? Why can't you produce a budget, number one, and why can't you produce an audit report for the Department of Defense? An audit report finalized on December 18th by the Department of Defense Office of Inspector General identified 26 material weaknesses and 2 significant deficiencies in the Pentagon's financial practices for the year. Auditors rendered the adverse opinions in 10 of 28 sub-audits contained within the overall Pentagon audit for the year. And adverse opinions are issued when audits find financial reporting to be inaccurate. Oh my goodness. The audit also listed further disclaimers of opinion, meaning the auditors could not be certain, one way or the other, whether the balance sheets of certain funds or programs were accurately recorded. Well, that's enough for me. I don't want to read any more of this. Despite the setbacks, War Secretary Pete Hegseth said the latest report showed continuing improvements across the Pentagon's accounting efforts. Yeah, if you don't, just tell them that you got it. It's okay. All right. This year's audit revealed remediations in key areas reflecting significant progress in financial management, Hegseth said in a statement attached to the audit report. So here's your audit report, and here's what I have to say about it. Better than what you have gotten. That's exactly what he's saying. So it's not perfect. Come on. You cannot tell how you are doing if you cannot balance the books and find out where the money is. Okay. I was raised to believe, unless you have a feather in your hair, you are an immigrant here. Wow, okay. I'm not sure I understand that one from one of our texters, but anyway, I'd love to hear more about that. I've never heard about a feather in your hair. Better be careful, Ann. Excuse me. All right. So we got the Department of War, whatever, the Department of Defense can't even do an audit. Well, there you go. Now we've got that. We got $1.3 billion coming in from gold cards because we only are letting the best of the best in. I mean, regardless. What will Lady Liberty do? That's what I want to know. Are we getting rid of that statue? The one that said, give me your huddled masses? Come on. We have tradition. Now, the Biden administration definitely destroyed that. But what are we going to do for people that really deserve to come in, maybe have skills? Or we're saying that nobody could have any skills unless they were rich. I guess that's it. Okay. So what is America going to become? An exclusive country just for the rich? All right. Well, what country will take those that are rich? That's what I want to know. Hey, I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. That is a terrible thing to say right here at Christmas. That's what I have to say. Oh. Let's see. Do we have anything else in that report that we wanted to read? I don't think so. All right. So, do you like that idea or do you not like that idea? I am not for that idea. I've always been for the little guy, the one that succeeded beyond all odds. The one that if you worked hard enough, you could outwork those that were not willing to work that hard. That was actually one of the tenets of Jeff and Ann's life. I worked so hard, I didn't know that I was I was working that hard. I just thought everybody did. Then I'd have people that say, you people are nuts over there at Sharp Facets. I don't want to work that hard. There you go. All right. Anyways, let's talk about, I had some other good stories here I wanted to share with you here this morning. Do you remember when we used to have tinsel all over our trees? And the final thing that you did on your tree was to put the tinsel. And, there were those that took handfuls of it. If you just wanted to get it done, you just took it and threw it on the tree. And then if you were very particular, you took one strand at a time and placed it on the tree. How was your family, or how did you do it? Did you like the handful approach and just throw it on there? Or did you like did your parents, your mom tell you, oh no, you've got to do one piece at a time? Well, I hadn't really thought about it, but tinsel is taboo now. We don't hardly ever see any trees that have the tinsel on it. And by the way, when you took down your tree, did you take off the tinsel or did you leave it on it? In Maine, quite often what you would do is you could take some of it off, but you left the tinsel on, then you took it out in the backyard, stuck it in the backyard, and let the birds put bird food and whatnot on it for the birds. I mean, you didn't just get rid of it like we do down here. But did you know that tinsel used to be made out of real metal? I did not know that. I didn't even ever think about it. But here is the deal. This story has nothing to do with political importance or anything else. It's just a good story. And I got this from History Facts. I mean, I find this site very, very interesting to look at. It says, once upon a time, no Christmas tree was complete without a healthy coating of tinsel hanging from the boughs. And that is so true. And if you had several people putting tinsel on the tree, everybody had their own method. So where I might take a piece or two at a time and put it on the tree, my sister might take a whole handful and just throw it on there and go, okay, I'm done. Okay. So those shimmering threads are less common now, though far from gone, especially in households that like an extra touch of sparkly holiday magic. But today's tinsel, which is usually made of PVC plastic, has a different look and feel than vintage varieties, which were made of real metal. So, it says, tinsel made of tin laminated brass or silver-plated copper began gracing Christmas trees in wealthy American homes in the late 19th century. At the turn of the 20th century, mass production drove the price down and made the decoration accessible to more households. Lyon, France was the tinsel manufacturing powerhouse, but factories struggled to keep up with U.S. demand due to metal rationing during World War I. I had no idea about this. That stuff that we used to buy by the boxes, remember, and it came folded up, it came rolled around a piece, you had to pull it off gently and then put it on the tree, and it, was very tinsely and tingling and this type of thing. Tinsel made of tin, lead became okay. So during World War I, they didn't have a lot of tinsel. But then it said lead became a popular material for tinsel after a German company received a patent for lead tinsel in 1904. and American companies followed suit. At the time, the United States was the world's largest producer and consumer of refined lead. It remained popular for decades, so much so that the tinsel was sometimes referred to as lead icicles. I have never heard this. Scientists already knew that lead could be toxic, but activism in the 1970s started drawing attention to the hazards the substance posed to children, and the FDA pulled lead from tinsel from the market in 1972. Luckily, a Dow chemical engineer had patented an iridescent plastic tinsel in 1969, so the replacement was already waiting in the wings. Is that wild? I think that is wild. I don't even think people really put that much tinsel on their trees now because we have all these type of lights, the special lighting. You have a lot of artificial trees that have a lot of tinsel-y type look to them. And so it's very different. But did you know when we were putting tinsel on trees, it was loaded with lead? I wonder how many kids ate tinsel, right? Little kids, babies ate tinsel off the trees. And then the earliest fake Christmas trees were made from goose feathers. Did you know that? See, that's why you turn into this show, to find out a lot of useless information here. The modern Christmas tree originated in Germany, where people have been decorating them since at least the 18th century. But many Germans were also concerned about deforestation, so in the 19th century, craftspeople started dyeing goose feathers green and attaching them to wires to make facsimiles of Christmas trees. Eventually, as with real Christmas trees, German immigrants brought the artificial tree tradition to the United States. So no goose was safe. If you saw a goose, that poor goose was like, I need my feathers. And no, we don't. We need them. Anyways, that's another cool story here that I thought I would share with you as we get ready for the holidays. So have you put your tree up? Have you got it all decorated? When do you take down your Christmas tree? That is the other big topic. Some people say the day after Christmas. Some people even say the day of Christmas. They are taking that tree down and packing it up. There are traditions that say that if you don't have your Christmas tree down by New Year, you'll have a bad year. A lot of people I know that decorate fabulous trees don't ever take them down. They simply cover them up and put them so that they're all ready to bring down next year. I do happen to know of a couple here in Greenwood. I don't know whether they still do it or not, but here in Greenwood that have a room that is, they have so many rooms in their house, that they have a room where they just roll all their Christmas trees into this room, cover them, and then next year take the covers off and they're ready to go. I think that's an interesting idea, but that does mean you need to have a lot of room. And don't you hate it when you have the perfect tree one year and then you have to take all the ornaments off of it and start over the next year? It's just not the same. Yes, me too. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, my dad always wanted the biggest tree he could find. So sometimes, sometimes we would end up with this really wide tree. So wide that it would be hard to get it in front of the window that my mother always wanted the tree in front of. And then, of course, there were the trees that always had the proverbial hole somewhere where a branch was missing. I don't know if you ever did this, but my father used to actually drill a hole and then try to put a branch that he'd taken off from the bottom and put it in there. He would be astounded at what people do today. Just get that artificial tree out and stand it up and you're ready to go. Christmas traditions are what life is all about. Do you believe in artificial, or do you like the real Christmas tree? The thing about a real Christmas tree is the smell. And I know, because I used to do this at Sharp Facets, you can buy the Christmas tree, the tree smell, because I used to go around spraying it. Oh, people are coming in. Let me spray the Christmas tree smell everywhere. So it smelled really good, and that would help put people in a Christmas mood. So, yeah, past Christmases are always fun to reflect back on, I think. I think they are. So anyways, that's a little bit about Christmas trees, and I just thought I would share that about the tinsel. I never knew that it was made out of lead, that it had lead, and that was really metal. I never really thought about it at all, except that it was very soft and very flexible, so the idea of it being out of metal was not something. All right, so Americans spent on tinsel from Lion in the first 9 months of 1960, $909,788. The world's oldest surviving artificial tree was purchased in 1886. I wonder how that Christmas tree looks. Talk about pulling out a tree. Come on, honey, you like this one this year? Christmas trees cut in the U.S. tree farms in 2022, which is, I guess, the latest data that this site has. 14.5 million trees were cut in 2022. And so there you go. That's just a little thing about trees. All right, now that I've had a Christmas tree tinsel story for you here today, if you've got a question or a comment, if you think I'm out there this morning, hey, it's okay. 864-332-9355. Of course, you can use our original line, 864-229-7984. 864-229-7984. I had a couple other good stories for you. Let's see. I had a couple things to tell you. What day was it? Saturday. I have not found any pennies out there since the penny was no longer being minted. And, of course, all the stores are saying, please have exact change. Please have exact change. We may not have pennies. We may have to round up or round down. Okay. Saturday, I went to dinner with some good friends of ours. We went to our place, and it was delicious, very good. But when I came back, I went to 2 different grocery stores. Grocery store, and I did go to Hobby Lobby. And I found a penny at each location. And I was just like, after all this time of finding no pennies, it was so nice to find a penny. But did you know that they had a funeral for the penny? Did you know that? This past weekend in Washington, D.C., residents gathered to bid farewell to the penny, just over a month after the U.S. Mint stopped producing the 1-cent coin. This watch my face now, very serious funeral honoring the penny's legacy took place at the Lincoln Memorial. How fitting. On Saturday, December 20th at 1:01 p.m. And this was a flyer for the event, was a flyer that was done. Funeral goers were encouraged to bring your own penny. To give the copper coin a proper send-off, mourners also heard from guest speakers, including a real Lincoln family descendant, a coin appraiser, and a noted penny economist, among others. As for the dress code, organizers asked guests to dress in funeral garb with heavy emphasis on Victorian clothing. Abraham Lincoln costumes were also welcome. So, it's a sad man. I'm going to miss all the times where it saved us for real. The penny was one of the truest Americans, said Andrew Wilson, one of those who gathered for the impromptu funeral. The U.S. Mint produced the last circulating pennies in Philadelphia on November 12th, nearly a year after President Trump said he had instructed the Treasury to stop minting the new 1-cent coins. For far too long, the United States has minted pennies which literally cost more than 2 cents. This is so wasteful, said Trump at the time. The decision to suspend penny production comes as the cost to produce the 1-cent coin has continued to rise, increasing from 1.42 cents to nearly 4 cents per penny, according to the U.S. Mint. While pennies remain legal tender, they will gradually be removed from circulation. I have never been so excited for an event in Washington, D.C. You know, she was with us our whole life, said Aubrey Campbell of Stafford, Virginia. The penny, we're going to miss her. The penny is survived by the nickel, dime, quarter, and paper money. So what do you think about the fact of the penny? And what do you think about the fact that they actually had a funeral for the penny? You know, I've read some articles where people wondered if they should just throw out their pennies. How crazy is that? Because we're not minting them. They're still in circulation. They're still being used. Of course you would keep your penny. I guess if you want to go turn them in and not have any pennies, so be it. They did have an auction where they got huge dollars for the last pennies rolling off the assembly line for pennies there, the mint. So, I don't know, folks. Do you like the fact that the penny is gone, regardless of the fact that it's just part of our history, right? So where does Lincoln go? Do we not have Lincoln on any piece of memorabilia of our coins, of our money or anything now? I mean, he was on the penny. Isn't he on the $5? He is on something else. But he's no longer on the penny. The penny is gone. You know, and it kind of makes you wonder that for a while there, when copper was really needed during the wars, didn't they make them out of steel or something? Would there have been another material we could have minted them out of and kept it relevant? That would be my other question. But I have noticed stores rounding up, rounding down on the penny. So, and of course, they're encouraging to use what? Cha-ching, your credit card, because then we don't have to deal with change. And I don't know about you, but have you ever been in a store and had somebody that was working at a register not be able to count change back to you? I mean, they don't even have to say it, but they could not figure out what coins to pull out. I think that is another frightening thing. So, I have one more story I want to share with you this morning. 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. And this story, I found this one very interesting. Because remember when President Trump said that Gaza would become a beautiful place and they would have beaches, they'd have all this stuff, and he painted this picture? Well, I was a little shocked to read the article about Ivanka Trump's husband presents a $112.1 billion plan for beachside luxury resort on the ruins of Gaza. Does that surprise you at all? It surprised me. Okay. Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Middle East envoy. See, I think this is kind of a conflict here. Steve Witkoff have developed, he's the one that's been negotiating all these peace deals for President Trump, have developed a $112.1 billion plan to reinvent the Gaza Strip into a luxury destination. The president has promised that Gaza will be rebuilt after brokering a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas following the war end in October, and has previously suggested it could be turned into the Riviera of the Middle East. I don't know about this, folks. Kushner and Witkoff appeared to have a plan to put that idea into practice with Project Sunrise, a draft proposal developed over the last 6 weeks to completely revamp the area. It's pitched expensive ideas like beachside hotel property, high-speed rail, and an AI-optimized electrical grids. This came from the Wall Street Journal. Kushner, a veteran of the real estate industry, and Witkoff worked with fellow senior White House aide Josh Greenbaum and consulted with Israeli officials and private contractors. The draft pitches $112.1 billion for a project over the span of a decade, with the U.S. supporting about half of that in grants and debt guarantees. In turn, the debt pushed on Gaza would be repaid via the profits from the revamp. If the plan is approved, it could begin in 2 months, according to officials. However, they'd said they first needed to clear some 10,000 bodies under 68 million tons of rubble while detoxifying the ground and removing unexploded bombs. Hamas, which remains entrenched in Gaza, must also demilitarize and decommission all weapons and tunnels. However, once it were to begin, the 4-phase plan would feature temporary shelter, field hospitals, and mobile clinics to those that were injured. The basics would begin by building paved roads, new power lines, and planting crops before getting into the more futuristic aspects of the project. While the U.S. has shown its plan to Turkey and Egypt, along with other Gulf nations, the plan does not specify where the other half of the funding would come from for this project. The plan does also not say whether the 2 million Palestinians would be displaced by the construction would go beyond their temporary structure. The Trump administration will continue to work diligently with our partners to sustain a lasting peace and lay the groundwork for a peaceful, prosperous Gaza, a White House person said. So what do you think about this? I think that this is a little bit hard to believe, and I see I smell money by this, and I don't know. That Jared Kushner involved, Steve Witkoff involved. Do you like this? Do you think that this is right? I don't know what's right. But I think this does smell a little bit. You know, in anything that happens, there is always someone that is there to take advantage of the situation. And this kind of, to me, feels like one of those taking advantage of the situation. So I just don't think that this is right. Kind of a conflict. Why should him or his family profit off any of that? That's what one of our texters just said. That's my point. This looks like are we going to have Trump Towers and all this kind of stuff? I don't know. But I'm not too excited about what they're talking about. It will kind of depend how this comes together, or if it comes together. You know, part of this is could be a lot of pie in the sky, but when people start talking about it, and major players that have been involved in the peace process are now putting together a plan to make it into this beautiful Middle East Riviera, I have questions. How about you? Hey, I'm Ann Eller. It is really difficult to keep up with all the things that are going on in our society. I really try. And some stories pique my interest, and a lot of them I just go, oh, it's another story about this and another story about that. But I did find this one interesting, and I'm not sure I could be totally on board with this, because number one, is that really our position to to do this? That is my question. Is it really our position to get involved with rebuilding it into this beautiful Riviera, a place for the rich to play? To me, when I see things like the Trump gold card, when I see a lot of these things, I wonder what happens to the rest of us. I'm getting really concerned about the way our society is changing. I want everybody to be successful in this world at whatever level. You know, not everybody wants to be a really, really rich. What? They don't? They want to be comfortable, and maybe they have other things that they have more interest in. Some of the best things that I do, they really are some of this toy drive this year, this Amber Varn and the Kyra's Dream Foundation. They were some of the best things I did during this holiday season. So we all have to eat. We all have to be able to have a place to live. We all want to provide well for our children. But some of the things that appear to be happening in this country don't actually enthuse me, because I know that there will be a whole lot of people that are totally left behind. And what happens to them? This holiday season, I hope that you have a beautiful and wonderful holiday season. I hope that you have your family, your friends. I hope that if you know somebody up the street or you have a relative that is all alone, at least you will pick up the phone and call them and have a real conversation. I hope that if you are up the street from them, that you might have a cup of coffee and, take them a cookie or two. Do something cool like that. Me? I'm going to be decorating cookies today. I have more cookies than I thought I could ever have to decorate. And I am going to be getting these cookies out into the world. But anyways, whatever you do, keep a little warm place in your heart for those that really need to hear from you. That is what I would have to say. Keep a little warm place in your heart for those that need to hear from you. Penny says it's time for me to get off the air. Looks like somebody is at my door. So I am going to say adieu. Yes, yes, yes. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I will be back in the morning. So you keep it right here on WCRS Radio. Get out there and enjoy it. The weather today, we are looking for a high of 58 with plentiful sunshine. Tonight's going to be a low of 41. Tuesday, a high of 65. Thank you, Penny. Low of 49. Wednesday and Thursday, highs of 77 for Christmas. Unbelievable. Have a great one, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in on WCRS Radio. Let's take it away. Take it away. Poor Penny is going, can you just get off the air? We have important things to do. And I agree with you, Penny. I agree. So have a good one, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Bye-bye. Have a great day.